Chase Leaki with the blue futon, and I saw the Batman 2022, Robert Pattinson. Is he the best Batman? Let's find out. So the Batman, what's it about? It's a pretty simple premise. Batman, Gotham City. He's been Batman for about 2 years. You have Alfred, you have Catwoman, you have Gordon, you have the Riddler, and you might have a little surprise villain at the very end. Oh, and don't forget Penguin with Colin Farrell. Very interesting choice. But let's talk about this movie. So I'm going to talk about the positives of this movie first and then the negatives. Even though I think it's an overall good movie, I think the negatives should be at the back end. Positives, we'll go with the acting. The acting as a whole works. Colin Farrell's a Penguin. Barely recognizable. Catwoman, Zoe Kravitz, it's fine to me, in my opinion. It was more of a, oh, that's Catwoman, and she played the part pretty well, but nothing like over the top. Then you have like John Torino, very good in that part. Also, Andy Serkis, great as Alfred. Even though you barely see him in the movie, he's there to be there. And Jeffrey Wright as Gordon, a very solid pick. Paul Dano is the standout in this movie as the Riddler. He does everything perfect in this movie, bar none. Now let's go with Batman, Robert Pattinson. As Batman, I can see him as Batman completely. Gritty, to the point, he's there to be there to solve crimes. Bruce Wayne, though, I couldn't tell the difference between Bruce Wayne and Batman. So when you have this moody Bruce Wayne guy that's always no emotion, then you have a Batman that's really no emotion. Yes, there is some dialogue in here that talks about how he tries to contain his fear and sometimes he lets it go. But when you're trying to say, I'm Bruce Wayne, I'm Batman, there's got to be some distinction of which one is which. And here it is very hard. You have an emotionless guy, you have an emotionless guy, and there is that. At least Paul Dano, there's some positive negatives, him freaking out in the jail cell and stuff like that. So you have the different realm of emotions. Robert Pattinson, you barely see it. And that's either going to be a positive for people or a negative for people for that. Now let's talk about the tone of the movie. It is a very dark, bleak movie. Yes, there's maybe 2 parts where you laugh, and it's a 3-hour movie, so there's not really parts where you're going to laugh out loud funny. There's just, oh, that's funny. Oh, that's a little cute little joke. And so if you like the dark tonal movie of being a crime scene show, then you're going to enjoy it, because that's what I enjoyed the most out of this, is the crime scene aspect of it. It is very interesting, and I enjoyed figuring out who is this rat in this organization that's making New York City, be this little shithole. Wait, is it New York City or Gotham City? I don't remember. No, it's Gotham City, but you could totally tell it was a metaphor for New York City, hands down. Then let's talk about the dialogue in this movie. There are some cringy dialogue moments, I won't lie, with Catwoman as a whole. Some of the stuff she says, you're just like, really? Like, of course, they always had to put the white privilege line in there, and our audience was like, of like, come on, does that really have to be in there? That has nothing to do with the story, but you have to actually just put it in there. And yeah, like I said, there's some just dialogue and character choices where you're just like, that's a stupid choice, that's a stupid choice. But with this movie, let's keep going with the action in this movie. Unfortunately, most of the action you see is in the trailer. This is very much a story-driven crime story with action scenes, not set pieces. Yes, you could say the set piece of the cars with Penguin and Batman are in it, and you're like, yeah, that's a badass car sequence, and it sounds great, very just to this like to the seat, and you're like, hell yeah, I love the sound of this car. So that was actually fun to watch. And the third half, it really wasn't action. It was more of, there could be something happening, and this is Batman beating up guys. And that is a lot what this movie is. It's Batman beating up guys just in dark hallways. And when you talk about dark, this movie is always dark, always at night. Yeah, there's some sunsets and sunrises, but there was never a time where you're in the day. Okay, maybe the funeral scene, but other than that, everything is at night. And with him fighting is always closed door hallways and just, tight spaces. Which I don't mind that for this movie, because a lot of it is, the camera doesn't cut away and it's very stationary, so everything happens. Not a lot of editing in the fight scenes, so I do enjoy that. But, like I said, don't expect a lot of action in this movie. It is like a car scene, and then Batman beating up people here and there. I do think Zack Snyder did it better with Batman versus Superman, especially with Ben Affleck going to that warehouse scene. I don't think you're going to find a lot of... To me, that's one of the better Batman fight sequences, because it was mostly, like, it was a more open space, and Robert Pattinson does a lot, like I said, hallways, closed door subways, and stuff like that. So you're like, okay, I can understand that. So, if you like that tone and that kind of action that don't expect that much, you'll be fine. Then we'll go with the first, second, third act. We'll finally conclude this review. The third act is very weak. I'm sorry, it really is. How it closes off of this final piece of what has actually happened. Yes, it could go really dark and gritty with like a mass shooting thing. And I was like, oh fuck, what are we about to do? The main issue, then it goes into, these motherfuckers are putting single caliber bullets into it. So if you're, so that idea just doesn't work, because if you have these 507 people, or they're in the chat, so let's go with 20 people, right? And they're talking in the chat what kind of caliber, what kind of guns we should bring. Honestly, if you're doing a mass casualty scene, and there's people in this Madison Square Garden, which is actually like the Gotham Square Garden thing, and you have the new mayor, and you have all these people with this flood going into this scene, you expect high caliber round, ARs, AKs, stuff like that. But here, it's basically like hunting rifles, where it's like, like I said, I don't know the big caliber guns, but, automatic guns, semi-automatic, even though there's not really any automatic guns anymore. You would expect them to have semi-automatic guns where it shoots more than one at a time. So that scene where it's like, oh shit, something's really about to fucking go down, it takes the level of intensity completely down, because only really one of them has maybe a magazine with 30 rounds in it. Everyone else, it's one shot. So you're like, it defeats the purpose of what the Riddler is trying to do as a whole. But overall, it's a bleak, dark movie. Don't expect anything. Well, I mean, it's bleak and dark in tone and just actually atmosphere, because everything is dark and rainy in this show. I do wish they expanded on the Penguin. Like I said, I know some people are just going to over this movie, and it's alright. I'm saying it's a good movie. I didn't really go in with high expectations anyway, because it's hard to go in with high expectations with a lot of movies now, because you just go in and see what you enjoy. Like, did I have high expectations with American Underdog? Yeah, that might be, that's one of those things. But the Batman, it's a good movie. Is it better than the Christopher Nolan ones? I would have to rewatch it. It definitely isn't better than The Dark Knight. I think The Dark Knight Rises has a better story when it comes to greed, corruption, and rioting than this one. Because this one doesn't really have that. Yeah, it could lead to that. But I'd say overall, the Batman is a good time. I enjoyed it. Would I watch it again? Absolutely. To get the here and there and around the squares. That's why we're the Brady Bunch kind of thing. But that's just my opinion. I do wish I had more Alfred. I do wish I had a little bit more Bruce Wayne. A little less Catwoman, because some of her storyline was more of like, okay, what? Let's go. So the Batman will receive a 3.5 out of 5 of Futons, which equals a 70%. So see, the Critics' Junior Scores gave this one. The critics say 86% with 199 of them. And it says there's over 1,000 audience score, but there is no score. So here's critic consensus, though. A grim, gritty, and gripping super noir, the Batman ranks among the Dark Knight's bleakest and most thrilling, ambitious live-action outings. I mean, I could guess so. I mean, live action, maybe. I mean, I like Christopher Nolan for trying to at least, amount of special effects. You could tell this one had a little bit more CGI in it. But when looking at Robert Pattinson as a whole, even his Harry Potter days, his Twilight days, I mean, the only time he really showed emotion, unless I'm completely wrong, is Good Times, and that's where he went kind of crazy. But most of his movies he's in, he's very emotionless. And so, I understand that, and I know people are like, oh, Robert I'm not saying he's a bad actor. I'm just saying he kind of needs to expand his range of what he can show on the screen, instead of just being like, I'm a vampire. Yeah, okay, everyone's going to make fun of him being a vampire, but he plays a great vampire. I won't lie. People make fun of him in Twilight, but his emotionless repertoire fucking works perfectly as a vampire. Does he work as Batman? Yes, he is a good Batman. As a Bruce Wayne, we didn't see enough of him to be Bruce Wayne for me to actually say he is a good Bruce Wayne. He was just an emo, if you want to put it that way. So, 7086, Chase Lack with the Blue Futon. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think of this movie, Utopia. You Booftonians, thanks for watching. Have a great day. Peace and love. And what did you think of this movie? Am I completely bombastically off? Let me know. Thank you again.